Karl Marx, What People Often Misunderstand. What if some of the most quoted ideas in history are also the most misunderstood? Karl Marx is one of the most controversial thinkers ever. His name appears in political debates, economic arguments, and historical discussions. But very often people argue about Marx without actually reading him. Many know a few quotes. Very few understand the questions he was asking. Marx was not only interested in politics. He was trying to understand something deeper. How systems shape human life, and how people slowly adapt to those systems without noticing it. One of his most famous ideas is alienation. Marx believed that modern work can separate people from the meaning of what they do. When work becomes only a way to survive, the connection between effort and purpose begins to disappear. People still work, but they often feel disconnected from the result. He described this in a simple but powerful way. The worker becomes poorer the more wealth he produces. This sentence was not only about money. It was about the strange paradox of modern productivity. The more complex the system becomes, the less control individuals feel over their own lives. For Marx, the problem was not work itself. Work can be creative and meaningful. Work can connect a person with the world. The problem appears when people no longer recognize themselves in what they produce. Factories in the 19th century made this very visible. Workers repeated the same small task again and again. The object they helped create would leave the factory while their role remained invisible. Marx described this as alienation from the product, alienation from the process, and sometimes even alienation from ourselves. Another famous line from Marx is often quoted without context. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. This line was not simply a call for revolution. It was also a criticism of passive thinking. Marx believed philosophy should not remain abstract. Ideas should connect with real life. He was asking an uncomfortable question. What is the purpose of understanding society if that understanding changes nothing? Marx also examined how economic systems influence the way people see the world. When a system becomes normal, people stop questioning it. What once looked strange slowly becomes obvious. This is one reason why historical change often surprises people. Systems can appear stable for decades, and then suddenly they transform. Marx wrote about this dynamic with a famous observation. History repeats itself, first as tragedy, then as farce. The meaning behind this line is subtle. Human societies often repeat patterns without learning from earlier experiences. Structures change, but behaviors sometimes remain the same. But Marx was not only describing conflict, he was also describing awareness. When people begin to see the system around them clearly, they begin to imagine alternatives. One of the reasons Marx remains influential is that he asked large questions about power, labor, and identity. Questions that still appear in modern discussions about work, inequality, and technology. Whether people agree with him or not, his analysis forced readers to examine the relationship between individuals and systems. And perhaps the most interesting part of his work is not the answers he proposed, but the questions he asked. How much control do individuals truly have inside large social systems? How do economic structures influence everyday life? And when people begin to see those structures clearly, what happens next? Marx believed that understanding society could change how people see their own role within it. But more than anything, he believed that ideas matter only when they touch reality. Perhaps that is why his work continues to provoke debate even today. Because it asks us to look at the systems we live inside and to ask whether we truly understand them.